power to accomplish His will and His bidding. Nothing's beyond His control. Nothing's beyond His sight. Nothing takes Him by surprise. He's King of kings and Lord of lords, and He sits on a throne and rules from on high this morning. He is the King of all eternity, and His kingdom there shall be no end. But thank God He's one that sits on a throne of grace and sits as my Redeemer this morning. And today you can come boldly before His throne because of Jesus Christ and His sacrifice on Calvary's cross. Made it a way for you to come and enter into the presence of this glorious King. Isaiah was reminded fully of who God is. Folks, I want your vision and your image of God not to be marred, but to understand He is a glorious, wonderful King this morning. Excuse me. The psalmist wrote in Psalm 95, verse 3, it said, "For the Lord is a great King, and He is a great King above all gods," He said. Listen, folks. How's your vision of God? How do you view Him? Do you view Him as the one that is in complete control of not only this universe, but your life personally? You see, truth is, we make decisions based on what we want a lot of times, I think. As you made your decisions this week and as you reacted or responded to different situations, how did you respond? Was it with an image of God in mind? Did He control your very situation and your very decision? Listen, He's got to be King this morning. He's got to be King. I believe it was A.W. Tozer. He wrote an extraordinary book. It wasn't very long, but it was called The Incredible Christian. And in that book, he said, within every believer, there are two objects. He said, there's a cross and there's a throne. And he said, when you're on the throne, then Christ is on the cross. But when you're on the cross, then Christ has been placed on the throne, His rightful place to sit as King and ruler. God began to restore Isaiah's vision of just how wonderful and just how mighty and just how powerful and just how precious He really is. Folks, today I want you to know you can believe in Him. You can trust Him. You can place all your confidence in Him. You can lean on Him. You can count on Him. When times get hard, you can know He's the one that's able to take care of your every need. When things go wrong, you can know He's always there. When your heart is broken, He'll always be the shoulder that you can lay on and cry on. He'll always be the one that'll love you more than anything or anybody else can. You can count on Him. Why? Because He is a great and mighty King. He not only got a divine comprehension of the sovereign, but He heard a declared character. He heard His declared character. The Bible said there in verse 3, it said, and one cried into another, talking about the seraphim, and one cried into another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of His glory. You see, He's a throne. He's a glorious King that sits on glory, that sits on government, that sits in grace, but He also sits in righteousness this morning. He's a holy God. One attribute that you'll find that God has mentioned 3 consecutive times in the Bible is holy, holy, holy. From His holiness, all other attributes from God flow. His love comes from His holiness. His justice comes from His holiness. His judgment comes from His holiness. God, we serve a holy, holy God. And we need to recognize Him as holy. As a matter of fact, that will be the anthem of our praise one day when we stand before Him. According to Revelation chapter 4, we will stand before God and we will cry out, Holy, 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 holy is the Lamb. That will be our anthem of praise. I want to ask you a question this morning. Do you believe that God is holy? Do you really believe that? And I'll ask you another question. Are we holy? Are we holy? You say, preacher, that's an impossibility. Not according to 2 Peter. The Bible said that where God said, be ye holy, for I am holy. Peter reminding the church that he was writing to, excuse me, I told you 2 Peter, that's 1 Peter. And he reminded that church that God is in fact holy, and God said, because I am holy, then you are to be holy. Are you holy? Are you practicing holiness? You see, if we believe that God is holy, then we understand that that is who He is. And that is His expectation for our own life, is that we ourselves be holy. You see, it's God's design for you, and God created you with one purpose. That is to conform you into the image of Jesus Christ. And that requires us being holy. He not only had a vision of the sovereign, but I want you to know, secondly, He had a vision of the sin. He had a vision of the sin. Look with me, if you will, in verse 5. The Bible said, Then said I, Woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. He had a vision of the sin. You know, that vision of the sin that God gave him brought about a genuine confession. Now, I want to share with you exactly what happened here. When Isaiah saw God, he saw himself. And it brought about a deep conviction about being in the light of who God really is. You see, you can't get a good look at Him without getting a good look at you. When you get into the presence of God and God begins to show you all that He is, and we see and we understand clearly that He is holy and that He is a sovereign God, then God begins to show us ourselves. And standing in the light of who He is, it brings about conviction. It caused a self-evaluation in Isaiah. He said, Woe unto me! Woe unto me! Interesting what that phrase meant. It just simply means to be in ruin or to be dead. Isaiah said when he saw God about himself, he said, I am in ruin. He said, I am undone. It left him speechless. He recognized that there was no legitimate excuse about himself, and he said, I'm unclean. He understood he was in a state of defilement and that he was polluted. He evaluated about himself. You see, he didn't blame nobody else. He never blamed God. He said, God, this is me. This is who I am. I am the one that's undone. And woe unto me. The best thing that I can say about myself is this, that I am wretched and I am miserable. I am undone. I am poor. I am defiled. I'm in deadness. My life's in ruin. He never blamed someone down the street. He didn't blame his wife. He didn't blame his kids. He didn't blame the person he worked with. He didn't even blame the folks he went to church with. He just stood there and said, God, it's me. I'm the one that's undone. There was a genuine confession. You see, folks, when it comes to getting right with God, it has to be that way. It's not about lining ourselves up with somebody else. You see, you could probably line yourself up with me, and you'd be a pretty good person. I could line myself up with Charles Mansons of the world and those that lay in the bars, that are lying drunk in the bars this morning. I could line myself up with murderers and all types of law-breaking and immoral citizens. And you know what? I'm a pretty good boy when I do that. When I line myself up with something other than the standard of God, then I'm good. I'm good. But when I line myself up with who He is, I'm just like Isaiah. And I have to pronounce on myself this morning, woe unto me. Woe unto me, because I'm undone. Church, I'm going to be honest with you this morning. We're undone. Woe unto us. We're undone. We're undone. We must come to the place where we've saw God. We've saw God. And we see ourselves. You see, that's what brings about revival. It's confession of sin. Being willing to say, God, I'm guilty. Being willing to lay our pride aside. You see, Isaiah, he was a Jew. Probably no doubt he knew all the religions.